Welcome back to Medora Minutes, a Bible study designed to help you start your week with the Lord and in His Word. Today we'll be looking at Genesis chapter 50, verses 24 to 26. In Egypt's Valley of the Kings, it's a large valley where there are tombs of the different pharaohs of Egypt. But in there we find the tomb of Meherpri. He wasn't a pharaoh. He was a nobleman that the pharaohs really appreciated, and they gave him the special honor of a burial with them in the Valley of the Kings. Because of Joseph's special favor with Pharaoh, because of the work that he had done saving the nation of Egypt through the dream that the Lord had given him an interpretation for, Joseph likely could have had a similar honor. But when it came time for him to die, Joseph had something else in mind. We take a look in Genesis 50, and we take a look at verse 25. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry my bones from hence. And then in verse 26, at the second part, they embalmed him. He was put in a coffin in Egypt. He did not consider Egypt his home. And when it came time for him to go to his home eternally, he didn't think of Egypt. He was thinking about having his remains, his bones, placed back in the land of Canaan, the land of promise. In Hebrews chapter 11, this is the chapter that has the examples of men of faith, men and women of faith. And we look in, beginning in chapter 13, the last part of that verse, they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on this earth. For they that say such things declare plainly, they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to return. But now they desire a better country, that is, a heavenly. Where is your heart set? When you are finished with this earthly life, where will you go to call home? Joseph didn't want his people, his family, to settle too deeply into Egypt. So he gave them the instruction of not allowing a burial in the Valley of the Kings or similar, whatever would have been preferred for him. Instead, when he was embalmed, he was placed in a coffin, ready to go back home to Canaan. There is a second very important thing here, and that is that instead of being placed out of the way, instead of having his bones taken directly to the land of Canaan, he left them there with the children of Israel in Egypt, with the instructions that when they left, you see, he was assuming they would leave because God had promised that. But when they left, they were to carry his bones with them back home, back to the land of promise. You see, Joseph didn't just want his bones to go back. He wanted to take as many people as possible with him. And so I would ask of you, with the legacy you are leaving behind, when you go home, finally, how many will you take with you? I'd encourage you to meditate on this over the next week. We've taken a look at Hebrews chapter 11. We've also taken a look at Genesis 50, verses 24 to 26. This is the last of the Bible studies on the life of Joseph. Thank you for listening.